All right, I'll start the live stream soon. Just need to update some of the things with the posts. I should probably post it on Blue Screen as well. Hey, live. I am live. So, even though it's been a long time, I've actually already been doing various live streams. I still struggle with actually setting it up properly, quickly at least. So it ends up taking a while. Should be able to embed the live stream on the Blue Sky though. Yeah, I can. Nice. But how do I tag? Okay, this one. Okay, I have this. Yeah. All right, let's put it on Blue Sky as well. That should be done. Okay. All right, I'm gonna start with page speed insights for all streams, and I should actually be showing the screen, I guess. I'll try to do it a bit different and go away from the notepad today. Instead, actually draw here. I think I am getting used to this tool a little bit, but I think it's a better version than actually just doing notepad because I can actually share these, so I can leave these in the comments later. This drawing board, so anyone can look at it later. With the notepad, it's a little bit problematic because I've had previously someone asking for notes, and I might just need to like copy over the text file or something. I mean, technically, I could even sometimes offer a transcript of the stream, just so people can use AI to get some of the context out. Another option, which I've done too, which I've done as well. So yeah, Miguel, who do we start with? Miguel, I guess. What was his way? It was Don Corgi, right? DonCorgi.com. So let's check what's happening. Oh, failed. Nice. Doesn't have enough traffic. Okay, so one thing we can like already deduce from this is there's not enough traffic going directly to the. So when you're looking at this, what real users see and experience, you usually need like a couple hundred visitors to a specific page to see the to see the field data from real users. And here we only see the origin, not this URL, which means that the primary domain URL is not getting that much traffic. It might be getting like traffic on some blog posts, individually, etc., but not on the main URL. What that also means is probably doesn't have that much brand search. Something to usually note. Yeah, and oh yeah, I just got sent another. Should actually show this. I'll do the page speed insights again. I'll check if I can replicate the same. This was from yesterday's stream, by the way. I was streaming. I was actually offering some because Francesco from Small Bits Community asked for feedback on for his website, and what he ended up doing is actually spent hours rewriting the whole page from Next.js in. Yeah, he shared me a screen with 96, but he shared me a screen with 96, which I think I might be able to without. Nah, doesn't, because I'm not authorized in a guest session. Anyway, so he shared me a screen with 96, but here I got 93. And on desktop it's 100. So he went from I think 70s or whatever to 93 or 96. It's a like a slot machine. So you gamble, you roll your luck every time you press analyze. But yeah, he went from 70 something, I think, to 93 or 96 already. And what he's lacking is a little bit of largest contentful paint, which could be related to probably some analytics scripts and maybe not optimized images. Yeah, looks like he's just serving higher resolution images, even though it's lazy loaded. It seems to be still counting for LCP for him. So because they are above the fold, at least some of them. So fair enough. Anyway, yeah. So 93. So this is his success story already from the yesterday's live stream. He rewrote his Next.js app into, I guess, more basic React app because it's just a landing page. So he doesn't need all the fancy frameworks actually for that app. Considering I think he has maybe one or two pages on it actually hosted, plus the posts maybe. Yeah, but this one. Yeah, okay. So you have a couple pages, and you even have a. I actually have not looked through your page. Anyway, this is the landing page, and he basically didn't change the landing page itself. He just rewrote the actual app and optimized page speed that way. I'm doing much better now, huh? Yeah, time to first byte. That's what I mentioned yesterday. Still at 600 milliseconds on mobile. If you could get it lower to 200-300, you'll actually be seeing this increase in the LCP and the speed index and everything. So your score will go up, maybe even closer to 99, 100. That will be one way to get it down. But that's your Hetzner server. I don't know what optimization you can do on the web server there to improve it. Maybe some kind of caching, returning I guess the caching on the, which I assume is server-side rendered here, so I could make the caching on the responses, returning just the landing page from cache. Probably gets you there, right? Instead of rendering something unique. I'm not super familiar with the React optimization, but that's something I can imagine. Anyway, yeah, we go back to the Don Corgi. This is just one of the success stories of actually improving page performance quickly right after some feedback and roasting was provided. It's possible. Some people say it's not possible to make it faster, not possible to make doesn't have enough data, but not able to pass the Core Web Vitals assessment. But it is possible. It's not like you always fail. You can actually do it if you want to. The question is whether you should. depends, but user experience definitely improves. So, trying to understand what's going on here. Don Corgi. Okay, so also trying to make sure my Streamlabs is not bugged today, because yesterday it was bugged with the chat. And okay. I mean, at least it feels like it's not bugged, right? Yeah. Oh, hey, elite streamers liked my. I assume that's a bot, just liking every single post, but somehow elite streamers account liked me on the X, right? The live stream post, whatever that is. 100k followers, serving the gaming community. Well, while I maybe like some games, I'm not exactly streaming a game. I guess that's just happens that you auto like any Twitch link, which makes sense. All right, what do we see here? We see Don Corgi. We have a desktop passing, all good. We see already. So what we see here is cumulative layout shift is not perfect. Sometimes that's a simple improvement. Sometimes that's a very simple improvement. On mobile, it's actually better, so I assume it's something with the header. Okay, so and you fail on mobile, but we don't have enough data for this URL, so it's for origin. If it's for origin, then we need to actually be a little bit more careful, because I'm already like, oh, it's something have to do with his header, right? But we're talking about origin. Oh my god, maybe it could even be related to the pop-up. But we're talking about origin, and he doesn't get enough traffic on the homepage, which means it's actually this origin aggregate is not for this what we see here or this. It's actually for the whole site, all the pages. So because I don't have access to Miguel's Google Search Console, I can't like precisely tell exactly which page is failing right now. But I at least can check different types of pages. So there's category, there's courses, from generators, about us. So what we want to do is actually just let's run a blog tag page, which is technically a category page for blog. And I want to get like because 98 on homepage, 99, that's actually good. So it's less likely that the problem with this is on the homepage, because CLS you're getting 25 out of 25. You can see it here. So you're getting the maximum score for the CLS. That means that the content is not moving around. Yeah, because what I want to remind is that the cumulative layout shift measures the movement of visible elements within the viewport. So whatever you see above the fold move while the page is loading, that's the cumulative layout shift. If you go to a documentation, we, for example, will see an example. Yeah, this sudden movement, for example, when you add a warning, like for example, if you press no go back, it suddenly throws this out with an install button. That means that the content moved down, so you actually clicked submitting order button instead. That kind of issues exist. I've actually seen these kind of dark patterns even within X itself, because if you like accidentally click on verified orgs part on X, the mouse cursor on desktop will end up being around the same place where it is to click get basic, for example. And it takes one click on X to actually confirm it. Like I've noticed if you have card on file, it takes one click to confirm any actions. So you could accidentally like buy an annual. It's by default annual, so you'd just be charged money right away. It's actually I don't think it's intentional dark pattern, but I have almost purchased the annual pass on X for the so this kind of this kind of like elements. Well, that's not even a really content shift. That's just a weird pattern. But here, this basically creates this example. So that's why we generally, that's why generally they have actually increased the weight for CLS to 25 now, because the page speed itself has become less of an issue with the faster internet across the globe, and also like just better infrastructure. Servers have become faster. Like all the edge locations added, but at the same time, this issue about content just visibly elements moving around the page, it's still an issue. It's an issue because of various pop-ups, like some kind of header banners, announcement headers suddenly popping in and out. All kinds of things happen. So that's why the CLS actually has become bigger part of it. And I've noticed that people actually are addressing more. But if you have, for example, used this PageSpeed Insights in like 2021 and you felt like, it's not worth anymore and I don't want to deal with it, and they actually have changed the scoring because CLS used to be, I believe, only 10% instead of 25% of the score, you might actually not realize that you're simply ignoring the fact that it would give you like good feedback for how your page is actually just providing bad user experience. Not that it's slow, but it's just providing bad user experience of like the content jumping around while loading. It's actually very frustrating sometimes. They'll go on a page and I see the font load in, and then I see another element appear, then image appear, and everything's just jumping around. I already want to click on something, but then it moves out of the way, and I click on something else. So if okay, I think I'll start here actually just to illustrate a little bit of the. We're gonna talk first about core Web Vitals. And I guess I mentioned assessment because assessment is the field data, whether you pass or not. I think that's gonna be a better way. I have not planned this very well, like to do it this way. Ooh, I should be like grouping or something, I guess. How do I group? Group selection? It's not in the middle. It's not even centered. Like, how do I center this? Is there a way to center it to the parent element? Okay, whatever. Groups. What's the shortcut for grouping? Control Shift G. Okay, but I just whatever. Anyway, yeah. And I believe I can like add like this. Then I can mention like cumulative layout. Oh, okay. This might take a while, but let's say so the one key aspect we're already addressing here is cumulative. So I'm gonna do the roast as we go, I guess, while also explaining what's going on with the with everything. So that would be CLS. Can I align it to center? Oh, I can't because it's not the whatever. Okay, I'm gonna do it this way, and then I can draw an arrow. I believe I can draw an arrow like this, right? Then I can move this around, and never mind. So I can connect the arrow to the outer element. I can Control Shift G, right? And then I can move this around. Nope. Yo. Groups Control Shift G is actually on grouping, I believe. Yeah. Okay. Cool. And then I could just add the text below, which would talk about it, I guess, a little bit more. So measures, visual, fifth elements, I guess, would be layout. So this is what it does. It measures visual. Gosh, I won't have space for this. I gotta somehow need to. So it measures the visual layout during page load. What it also is it's 25% of the total Lighthouse score. So when you're actually look at the Lighthouse score, the 0 to 100, 25%, up to 25 points of that, as we can showcase it here for Don Corgi. 99 performance, CLS 25 plus 25, so that he has maximum 100% weight. It's the 25% of the total Lighthouse. So as of now, it's Lighthouse V10. Lighthouse, I'll also put it to V10, I believe, because they update this over time. So I need to clarify that is actually V10 of the Lighthouse score. Oh, hey, Miguel. Yeah, nice to see you around. Miguel is in the chat. He's obviously working on something, but he's around, and I guess he's checking in for the roast. Yeah, I'll go a little bit over this. I start to use this Excelidraw, whatever tool, and I also want to explain some concepts with this way. I can also share actually these tools. So I'm just gonna start mentioning with CLS. Yeah, community layout shift. It's 25%. 25% of the total Lighthouse score. It's also one of three, four. One of the three. I guess core. It's so weird for me to say one of the three core web vitals metrics. But that by that I mean is that it determines whether you pass the core web vitals assessment. So if you fail on CLS, you fail the core web vitals assessment. That's one of the three metrics. One of them is CLS. So that's why I look focusing on CLS, relatively important. Maybe not everything, but I would personally say from user experience perspective, CLS is actually one of the things that is most annoying nowadays. Pages can load pretty fast, but the elements might be shifting on the page. So since Miguel, you're here, I guess you do have on the field data some issues with CLS, but they seem to be fine on page speed on a main landing page. Do you know exact page where they might be failing based on like Google Search Console? If there's a chance you can pull it up. Because you have 100 mobile on the drawing basics as well. Let's do a single blog post. There's a suspicion that sometimes CLS fails on these because there's like an image loading and you don't have like the preset height set up. Like you don't have like a fixed height set up for the image before it loads. So there's sometimes a content jump, for example, like a header image. We're gonna load this up. We're gonna see what's happening. Oh, you get 72 on a single blog post. What's happening here? It looks like it's loading really slow. Really, really, really slow. Could be just that happened on the... Oh, wow. Load delay and load time is... I'll go quickly over these, which probably give me some ideas already what's happening here. That would not make sense unless it's the ads that you're loading on the page that are slowing everything down. So this image is actually not showing up very quickly. The blog post image is actually not showing up that quickly. That's the largest element on the... Is it because you're lazy loading the image that's supposed to be above the fold? It's actually a common issue of... It is lazy loaded. Yeah, at least there's a class of lazy loading. Decoding async, data lazy. Yeah, it doesn't even have the source, right? Or do you have a source and then you lazy load the better resolution? Yeah, you're clearly using the data lazy sizes, so... Mobile, I mean, desktop performance is fine. It's just only mobile, which... Okay, this, and also I guess I set up a separate section here of what you can do is set preset height for elements before they load. Usually CSS styling. So that's one thing you can do. Another thing you can do is for CLS sometimes is load lower resolution / dummy element before main element replaces it. Yeah, that's something you can do for that's actually this works for LCP as well, like the largest contentful pane sometimes, especially if that element is like not the main element on the site. Because if it is the largest element on the site, you can actually run into problems that it takes longer because you're replacing with a second element. But for the cumulative layout shift, if you set up the preset height, like if you know the image will be 120 pixels high, you can set up the parent element to be 120, so it's always guaranteed that you see that that box where the image is supposed to be to 120 height, so there's no shift, and then the image loads, it slots right in there. There's no jumping content. But if you, for example, have some lazy loading and everything set up on those images, and they're not loaded like with in a render blocking way, you might end up seeing an issue where your content is shifting, and including also leading to potentially like worse largest contentful pane. Because sometimes you even can kind of trick that largest contentful paint if you have like a lower resolution image loaded in first and then you replace it with a full size image. Yeah, I mean the all the tracking scripts, ads, whatever you're loading, they obviously not very mobile friendly in that sense, but their own scripts, yes, especially their YouTube embeds are like the biggest abusers. They load like multiple megabytes of data for nothing, like generally nothing. So for the CLS, I would say you you first of all you focus on just setting up the height of the elements, which here seems to be fine, and then you focus also on potential dummy lower resolution. It's not going to impact CLS as much, but it does work on the LCP as well. It impacts CLS if you actually have something like an image or a banner that's taking time to load, for example, with JavaScript as well. You want then the parent element to already be fixed height before it actually is replaced with the content that the JavaScript loads. So here it's complaining about the cumulative layout shifts. It's complaining that animations can be janky and that there's some kind of animation on an element. I'm not sure. Oh, it's on the profile image. Was that the element? Yeah, that is the sidebar profile element. Is there some animation, or does it even show up on desktop? That's odd. Oh, that could be the bad. No, that doesn't make sense. I could run performance locally on this blog post as well to. Oh yeah, my chat is actually over. Oh, I think I could do it this way. It's actually better for the chat. Sort of better for the chat, yeah. What do we see here? Is there anything it's complaining about? It's actually, if I run it locally, there's 0 CLS. So whatever happens, oops. Whatever happens there is actually related to animations. There is an animation, but that seems to be related to potentially ads. Time to first byte is actually 55 seconds of the whole. Oh yeah, it does take a while too. And I'm looking at your site. Even I'm testing with like proper like no it's a mobile device like viewport, but I'm actually testing without throttling. And it does take a while to actually get content back. It took potentially 500 milliseconds to receive a response from your server. Well, this element, this says like this. This is actually a banner to join a newsletter, no? No, it's not the banner to join. It's just the. Wow, the amount of ads you have. Just amazing. Oh, it's the footage, the shifting. Oh, because okay, yeah, just complaining about. You can actually see if you look at the screen, you actually see an issue. It is quite janky in a way. Like this plug, the way it's joins magnetically, like this magnetic join to this, it kind of feels a bit janky because the other newsletter box is also jumping around, like when it kind of like plugs to the top of the screen and then it joins this. There's like some unnecessary animation. Actually, is it because there's no, there's no. I love it though. Yeah. It's some kind of adult movie, right, for websites. Okay, yeah, maybe you can't do anything with the plugin, although I just can't even press on this. What the hell? Give me the blog. I open it in a new tab. Nice ads. A lot of ads. Huh? Oh, now it's in a different spot. What? When I open it now, it's in a different spot. This join is, instead of being in between there, it's the ad sliding up to the box. Okay, yeah, the plugin. I don't know, man. Not like it matters if you're browsing through all those ads, but like if you don't have an ad blocker, clearly the user experience, the thing that hurts the user experience would be the ads, not the not this sliding. But this is kind of stuff like you wouldn't actually want to see, especially on the top of the page. If you have something with a header announcement bar on websites happening like this, like you definitely want to avoid something like this. This is worse if it actually happens on your header of the website. Announcement bar, header, some kind of like not the pop up, but like an element that pops out there, and then suddenly also creates these kind of shifts. Like that's what you actually want. So I actually can mention this on here, but wait, I need to actually move the whole section up a little bit for now. I can mention it here as well. Avoid animating shifting header elements out of DOM, basically. Yeah, if they're not actually glued together in the DOM, you want to be careful, because it's always the sticky headers can get you there. You might not notice it, but on some devices that sticky header is just like weirdly shifting around, especially on like lower width devices, like let's say iPhone SE or some smaller Android devices that would have this issue that sometimes the header can't fit all the content, so it's also going into two lines. And when there's in two lines, when you actually switch from like that static header into like this, not the static, but into like a header that's part of the DOM, into like this sticky header, it suddenly somehow starts jumping around because it's not intended to be in like that height when the content goes into two lines. So that kind of weird issues happen. But your website, Kate, like we ignore the ads ruining your user experience, but there's a little bit of. But yeah, the time to first byte would be something, if it's possible to address, would be really nice. I'm not saying it's possible for you to address it, by the way. I'm not saying it's possible necessarily for you to address it, but if you can address those 400 or 500 milliseconds of server time and reduce it to 200, would be great. That depends obviously where you're hosting your page. Like, is that your own server? Is there like some kind of queries? Is there like on the server side that are unoptimized? Yeah, yeah, the ads definitely can look into opportunities, but that obviously you want to make money still, so you need to find some kind of balance. Hopefully, you can sell more of your own stuff instead of relying on ads as much. Because what I'm actually being offered here is a Latvian ad for wine school, but then it's talking about something about being lonely and stuff. And I guess if you drink wine, you might not be lonely. And just whatever it is. Okay. Anyway, yeah. So we're talking about CLS a little bit, and I think I should, because I didn't exactly find the exact page that has the problem. Okay, I should actually still check on a couple other. Okay, drawing courses. Oh, Gumroad. Yeah, you buy on Gumroad. Cool. Actually, check because this page is actually very important to you as well. I'm just checking if I can find some of those. A little bit. Yeah, what we consistently see here. I mean, I will address it because it's outside of the CLS. Consistently see is the time to first byte for real users on your site. I mean, it's not consistently because for Origin, so it's always going to show the same values, but it's pretty high. It's 0.9 seconds for desktop and 1.5 for mobile. So we clearly have a little bit of a problem. Okay, no, online courses pages are fine with the CLS. It's actually the what are the resources you have? Drawing tablets. So it's just a blog page as well. There shouldn't be this. Prompt generators. Let's check this page as well. So yeah, obviously I'm taking it slower than a quick review because I will try to update this drawing board whatever with the content, so it will take a bit slower. I'm also trying to figure out where the CLS potential issues were coming from. We don't need the Francesco's page anymore. Okay, this all is fine. But there's just a little, there's mostly CLS, some issues on the desktop. It's still passing, so it's passing. It's fine-ish, just a little bit lower score. And when you're already close to that 0.1, which starts failing it, you usually want to be safe and make sure you go as close to 0 as possible, just so you don't start failing, just because of the whatever users who have maybe slower internet, slower devices for some reason have more issues, and then their weight, the weight of them actually becomes larger on your site, and they start failing your, because this is field data. This is not something you can control directly. It's actually defined by the actual audience you have. So if you suddenly have more people from, let's just say, India, African countries or something, where whatever internet might be slower than in the West, if you have suddenly have more users from those regions, suddenly you might start failing the core web vitals, because maybe some of those issues are related to slow load times, and as I said, as the slow load time might make, for example, the image to jump out suddenly on the screen, so that becomes a CLS issue if you don't have like the fixed height for the elements. Okay, we can go to something else as well. Now the interaction to the next pane. Let's open it in the documentation. We'll have a good showcase. Yeah, so it showcases you this issue that responsiveness is sometimes bad. So basically, when you click on something, it's not instant. This has multiple reasons. Now, one of the culprits for this sometimes is that you are just having animations that are delayed. So, or there's a background processes all the time happening. For example, like with ads, you might actually have those issues more when you're running ads on your website, just because there's like background scripts running that will actually change like the feed, like basically showing the feed and everything. So you might notice that, for example, if the main thread is blocked, you might click on it and then you need to wait for, let's say, 200 milliseconds for it respond to that click and show something. While actually you would just want to have it like basically instant. So if you have a delay on animations, that's bad. If you have like a lot of scripts in the background constantly running, it usually impacts this as well, because maybe something on the main thread is blocking. Now the INPs is a little bit harder to like track sometimes. because what it also showcases here is like 200 milliseconds is that benchmark where it's good, and you had 250 on mobile and 100 on desktop. Desktop is fine. 100 is not that bad. 250 on mobile is a problem. What we will see here, because here it actually doesn't showcase the specific issues with that, but we should be able to deduce some of them probably from the fact that okay, so as in a documentation, it will actually show you that the blocking tasks, which is whatever running in the background, and then you have like whatever mouse click elements that are being processed, and then also the render and paint parts. So if that actually changes a lot on the screen, it might be a little bit slower. But generally, what you want to avoid is having like some blocking tasks constantly running, and that sometimes is just pure like issues with like bad JavaScript code where you actually just have like some kind of event handlers firing all the time, and they are processing DOM or maybe changing DOM all the time. Like that could be even like this, literally the mouse up and click events, especially like pointer events, like where the mouse movement events. If they're actually like constantly making some kind of loops of code executing on the main thread, becomes a huge issue. So yeah, so ENT is only observed on clicking the mouse, tapping when a touch screen. So it's mostly pointer up, mouse up, and pressing a key on a physical or on-screen keyboard. So you only worry about those events where a user is realistically engaging with your website by typing something into some kind of input element, or they're clicking or tapping on the screen. So you only worry about that for the IMP. However, first they were doing the first input delay. So whatever you does the first input you tried on a page, that was the old, and this year they replaced it with the INP. And INP is actually more holistic in the sense that whatever you're gonna perform on the site, if it's slow, it's technically penalized because they tell you it's a bad experience. Now I agree that the first input delay might not be the best metric because yeah, sometimes it's a bit slower while you load, but after it loads, it can actually be very fast. So this is a better metric in a way that actually continues measuring the fact that okay, I'm continuing to click, I'm continuing to interact with the website, and I get a very slow responsiveness. Now what they will actually say is that focus on in the field data like real user monitoring, so the RUM. There are actually tools that allow you to basically track all the timings for all the interactions because there are APIs for like the browser metrics. I have not used them as much. I have couple times used them, but I have not actually like been working with them very actively. But there are basically that you can time whatever like some kind of event is starting to happen. You just time like actual timings for in the browser using a browser APIs, and you can like essentially you're console logging them in a way, and you can see exact like time it takes for each event to process, and then you can find the bottlenecks, basically the events that are taking the longest time, and also finding actual like looking at the events that are triggering. Basically, what you would like to know is so what we have here is, for example, so interaction to next paint for your page for me with my performance is actually showing 32 milliseconds, which is completely fine. So if I would click here, I would get interactions like a pointer. So the performance tab, okay, now like if I like talking about this now here, is that you go to the F12 on Chrome, for example, performance tab, you will see the performance tab. You can actually go to the interactions, for example, and you will see essentially the how long the specific, for example, clicks and everything on the page take. So here I'm gonna click on this page. Now it loads a new page, and I'm clicking again here. I can see that I'm clicking on an age. I get 24 milliseconds. Now these are actually fine. Like all of them, they click generate all at once. They're all fine. All these clicks, they don't actually have a problem. On my my actual device without any throttling. However, okay, so in this case, yeah, okay, we're gonna talk about this later. But on this homepage, it actually loads the image pretty slow, and this was actually the header, the main image. It could have actually. Why would it be so long? Oh, because it's lazy loaded, right? It's yeah. We already talked about it. It was lazy loaded. So if I click on these, oh, that's a Gumroad. I want to go back. So generally, when I'm testing on my device, yeah, you're lazy loading an image above the fold. No, I don't think. I don't think the size actually there is the biggest problem. It's actually that you're lazy loading an image above the fold. I believe you had the lazy load classes on that image. So in that sense, like sometimes the better performance there is because the image is not actually huge, like in terms of size, is better to just actually render block and load the image straight up instead of trying to lazy load it because it's above the fold. That's what I mentioned in the other topic about replacing it later with the fulls. Yeah. You should generally avoid lazy loading above the fold if you care about like layout shifts or like LCP metrics. Yeah, especially the layout shifts. If you don't have like all the elements also set height, like there's that would be an issue because you can actually test it and see that like if you don't lazy load, some of those metrics become better. Because those when you replace those images, it sometimes makes the LCP also appear slower because it detects that you are replacing an image. For example, a lower resolution image with a higher. However, that is still a strategy to avoid like layout shifts and still showing an image that you load the low resolution image first and then. Although the progressive image loading is mostly supported nowadays, so not that big of an issue. But that was a JPEG, I think, no? Or was it a WebP? Actually, already. I, no, I'm looking at your website. I'm looking at your site. And actually, like the INPs on my device is fine. Now, when I clicked on this subscribe element, though, there was a little bit of slower interaction. If I would throttle low 4G, what happens then? Do you have any issues with? I'm just not getting anything now. Why did it stop loading? All good, because yeah, it shouldn't. And if I slow down my CPU 4 times, which would be like probably closer to a mobile device. Oh, I did get some interaction being 288 milliseconds sometimes. Because 100 is still fine. So this is like a normal mobile experience. But these slowdowns could have happened for various reasons. That was just unlucky click. Oh, the table of content. Oh yeah, I found one element. I found one element where you're actually slowing down. It's the table of contents because it probably is a pretty big DOM manipulation here. So your table of contents, I'm not entirely sure what you're doing with the table of contents here, because it's probably animation, so you're probably inserting and taking it out of the DOM, right? Or are you? No, it's actually a list is just display none or not display, so it's all good. Shouldn't be. That's just the menu hidden, but it's interesting. You actually have a potentially that's where the INP is actually failing from, is because the yeah, I guess that's always an issue with the plugins. It happens with the Shopify as well. You can't do much about them. I wonder if there's anything that could be done with that. Where did my... Hey, where did it go? I was looking at the performance metrics, yeah. So yeah, okay, I will remove my throttling. I don't like throttling. I just want to see what happens without the throttling now. Yeah, but obviously still sliding out in terms of content. You kind of want it to slide down in a way instead of just jumping out in your face. Obviously there is some... okay, wait. Yeah, the time to first byte is still relatively slow, even without all the... I had this open here. What else can I take from the documentation if I want to? Yeah, this they have these checklists sometimes, but they're not often that great. But I'm wondering if we can... So yeah, Mediavine is pretty big transfer size, Google Tag Manager, but these are not things you would be removing. Viewport not optimized for mobile? What do you mean? You mean this is... By the way, you don't have this meta tag added? The viewport meta tag with the with content device size? Because yeah, I've heard that sometimes if you... the delay is gone, right? Because it should be gone, right? If pinch zoom was disabled. Oh, if only if pinch zoom is disabled. Yeah, this used to be true, but it shouldn't actually be true anymore. I'm confused why the documentation still says this. I guess you could argue, yeah, that maybe some devices still are like, I don't know, like 1% or whatever of all the user base is still with these issues. But oh, because Safari, right? Because Safari is the new Internet Explorer. Because Safari actually doesn't support some of these features, so you actually are safer to just continue adding everything like this. So here's the viewport, meta name viewport. Yeah, usually that's one of the first things you added a header. So I'm actually gonna check if it exists on your page, because if it doesn't, that's something you can actually improve. Let's go to the source code. You do have viewports, so what is it complaining about? With device. Why does it not like it? I mean, initial scale is 1 as well. Okay. Okay, it found a interesting reason to complain about. You actually had it. Ah. So yeah, the table of contents definitely has some delay. Now the issue of the animation maybe is the problem, but you kind of generally want it to slide down, like have a little bit of transition, not just go right away out. So I wouldn't precisely feel like, yeah, you should be removing like these plugins and everything. You obviously want to care about the user experience for all of these things. The table of contents is one of the things. If it benefits users and you know users are using it, it's one thing you obviously want to keep. And I think that's a very important part of your blog posts. My assumption would be that people are actually going to specific section of it. Up today. Okay, so what do we do now? What else did we have? All right, I should actually write up a little bit on that. I should probably try to copy this. I think that's the easiest way I could do it. Action to next thing. I should write up on it a little bit. Action to next paint. I guess I should write it correctly with the capitalization, just to keep it correct. Can I squeeze it in here? The same box? I can. So what percentage was it right now? It doesn't even a percentage, right? Because yeah, it's not actually a percentage. In fact, it's actually not even part. That's one of those things, right? So it essentially measures how responsive. Okay, I need to figure something out with this. I need to figure something out with this. Do I just zoom out? Still readable. Because otherwise I won't have space for the rest. Measures how responsive. Our website is to click, touch, keyboard events. This also, yeah, I can probably copy this specific line from here. Hey, I wanted it to be inside the other one though. Yo. Please, can I? What? Why doesn't it select everything? Okay, so this one also determines whether you pass the Core Web Vitals. However, this one is not part of the Lighthouse v10 core. So that's a huge difference. It's not directly part of the Lighthouse score. So you can have a good Lighthouse score and still fail Core Web Vitals assessment because your input, which is actual user experience, is bad. That's how people get tricked by the oh, I have high score, I'm failing this. You know, yes, it's likely the users have some bad internet speed, and then your page is maybe not as responsive, but you're just testing locally or at PageSpeed Insights, you actually don't get that same issues. But still, sometimes it's things like this, like the responsiveness. And I'm gonna, yeah, I want to clone this element as well, just to make it quicker. Okay, so what you can do, what you can and should do generally is audit all the events. All the event basically, what do I want to say? All the event listeners for these key events, for these key user interaction events. And one of the ways obviously was, as we went through, was the performance tab. And then you can click around, you can do this. You can see how like it's 40 milliseconds. 40 milliseconds now is actually fine without throttling, but on mobile devices you clearly have some throttle there. And even like slower laptops, especially on battery, if it's in like a battery saving mode or something. But anyway, yeah, so that's and yeah, if you're talking about this audits, then you use like that's one way to do it. That's the easiest way. I'm not gonna mention the APIs, the browser APIs. I'm not very good with them. I might even do a live stream or content piece on that as well, just to review it myself at some point. All right, give me a sec. Let me collect my thoughts a little bit as well. Okay, the interaction to next paint. All right. And then we need to address the elephant in the room. You are on the borderline you're not failing, but you're on the borderline of failing the largest contentful feint. Now, if we look at the largest contentful feint here, and then again, I should already start doing this. So, oh, I didn't even update the text. Yeah, getting used to this tool. It's not bad. Not actually bad. So this measures how much time it takes to render the largest element up the fold. And what's also important is if when you're looking at the Lighthouse score, it's 25 points. So it's 25% of the total Lighthouse score as of now in late 2024. And it's one of the 3 core web vitals, right? I'll make it like this. What you can do about this? We kind of talked about this already. And I will also make it again the focus as just what I talked about Bloomberg yesterday. Like the most important thing here is usually focus, like that you can focus on actually that you might not see in these reports that well, except for this figure here. The time to first byte. Okay, so the first thing we definitely need to look at is time to first byte. It's part of the LCP. The higher it is, the less time your browser has to render everything, like past the Core Web Vitals assessment. Basically, if you're looking here, we see LCP, largest contentful feint, 2.5 seconds. That basically means you request the website, there's a DNS resolution, there's like some kind of cache on the server side, there's a response generation, and then you're starting to return the response. The moment you start returning that first byte in your response, that's where this time to first byte is timed. And then from there, it continues that the browser actually parses the HTML and it starts basically requesting the render blocking scripts like styling, etc. Images that are not deferred or asynchronously loaded. And on top of it, it also needs to actually parse, like actually execute all the scripts and then render them. So those steps won't be very good at it. I'll check the documentation if it includes like a better image for this process. So I don't like I don't need to reinvent it. Okay, I might. What do I do? Like timeline? What's the? Okay, yeah. Here we get this here. Give me a sec. Need to also. Okay, so yeah, we get this. This actually a good image. It's a good image. Can I drop it in this? Yeah, so if I drop it in this, like. So here when we talk about LCP, just to clarify what I'm trying to talk about, especially about regarding or in regards to time to first byte. We talk about TTFB first byte when we talk about LCP. Time it takes for the server start returning a response to the visitor. First byte, basically. Resource load delay. Time it takes to discover resources that need to be downloaded. So that's when it basically finally gets to. So here, because this is the first byte, time between first byte and parsing HTML. So it's essentially the time it takes to start down between the time when you actually finish the TTFB. So when you finally start downloading the response, that's when it starts tracking it. And then it leads up to the time. And then it leads up to the time when you actually parse the HTML to find all the resources that need to be downloaded. Essentially, that's this part. Hopefully this is visible on the stream. I think it is, but this text is maybe a little bit smaller nowadays. I can actually view it myself to check. I need to zoom in back a little bit again. Oops. Yeah, and I think I'm gonna need to move it like this then. Here we go. That is the resource load duration. Actually downloading those resources that need to be displayed. And element render delay. Time it takes to render them. That includes images, styling, JS, etc. Whatever is applied to those elements. So that's what makes the LCP. Now I can quick LCP math. I can do quick LCP math. So to be good for Google, so Core Web Vitals assessment benchmark less equals than 2.5 seconds equals good. Now imagine if we have this Don Corgi website by Miguel. He's been having a lot of struggle with Google lately. Google hates his site, I guess, but I mean one patch it loves his site and then it hates it again. One patch. I mean, I'm talking like SaaS or gaming lingo now. I mean, one update, not patch. No. But yeah, if we talk about this, we're talking like okay. So let's talk about real. Like he's succeeding. He's 2.5 seconds, but he's succeeding on LCP. He's failing this. So if he's with his Don Corgi has 2.5 seconds, okay? So what the hell is this? So your LCP is 2.5 seconds, right? And we have Miguel with time to first byte of 1.5 seconds, okay? So that is 1.5 seconds. Well, if we do math, we talk about budget left to number 2 to number 4, resource, load, and rendering. Resource load, parsing, script execution, and rendering. That's more accurate. Budget left is 2.5 minus 1.5 equals 1.0 seconds. So 1 second. And I think this is very important for people to realize that the biggest bottleneck in this case. Oh, I didn't want everything to be. I just wanted to. Jesus Christ. Can I just make only one? No, I can't do that, right? Because then I would need to exclude this from the text element and then I post it as a separate text element and then I would change its color and maybe make it bigger or something or Excel. Yeah. And then I would also add something like is there any thing I can apply? No? Okay, never mind. Yeah, so we would have this 1 second. And that's the budget that's left for everything except the time to first byte. And now you might be going through all these reports on PageSpeed Insights, Lighthouse, GTmetrix, and all the other tools, and you'll be like, oh my god, there's so much JavaScript optimization, image optimization. But the one thing you need to pay attention to is that if you have the total budget of 2.5 seconds, you don't want to spend 60%. 60% of the total LCP budget. You don't want to spend 60% of the total LCP budget just on loading, just on the response and starting to receive the first byte. That is the core issue actually for LCP. Like people don't want to, people don't actually like name it and focus on it as much, but this is the core issue for many sites. Yes, a lot of sites load JavaScript and their actual LCP is like I mean, time to first byte is actually good. That happens with e-commerce stores, but then they load all the tracking, they load all the plugins, they'll load all this weird like animation elements and apps that just are parsing a lot of JavaScript that is loaded like right before the LCP even completes. And sure, those issues exist, but there are a lot of sites where the specific issue is actually this. So you are left with 1 second to do everything. You have 1 second to download resources, execute script, parse, execute scripts, and render everything. Now with that 1 second, especially if your internet is a little bit slower, and that's already part of why the time to first byte might be already pretty low, is because there's actual network connection issues because you're connecting from a region that just is further away. So there's like this ping issue already, like adding like 400 milliseconds, for example, to that whole equation. This is where you already start having these issues, and then you're only left with 1 second for the rest. So what you want to optimize, obviously, here would be caching, etc., to actually get this down. So because now we're focusing on Miguel, I'm actually bringing this point up again, just like I pointed out yesterday. But we're bringing up the time to first byte as the core issue for LCP. And as you already will see, you always have this documentation. It will actually give you a explanation how time to first byte works. It does the redirect. If there's any redirect, this goes together into the LCP. It has the server workers. It has the cache. It has the DNS resolution, the TCP layer here for the request starting. And there's some early hints for the response and then the actual response. And the moment the response starts downloading, that's where the not completes, but actually when the response starts downloading, that's where the time to first byte ends. I think I can copy this as well. Time to first byte timeline. I'll actually share this later with you guys. Oh god, I need a better quality image. Why did I get it so bad? Go. Can I? Oh, it's an SVG. Can I just drop it? I won't be able to drop an SVG, will I? I don't want to download it and enter it there. There used to be like I don't actually know what the. I could do this, right? Yeah, I could do this. It's not perfect, but it works for me. Yeah, I'm already feeling tired this live stream. My sleep was quite underwhelming, as in I slept way too little last night, but I'm trying to also reset my sleep schedule a little bit. So this already starting to. I think I can only do one roast, and I'm even not finishing the roast completely probably for today. I mean, I did go over a lot of this, and I actually want to continue it later then. Yeah, there's ways to also measure time to first byte in JavaScript, as I mentioned with the navigation timing API, for example. This is what I haven't used much. I might try at some point, or might even try it as part of one live stream but those might be live streams during some of the time where people are mostly already celebrating their Christmas or something, so, or being on holidays. I'm not entirely sure. But obviously, we'll be adding this content just as a summary for everything. So this content might come in handy. I might actually want to try it out how this exactly works. Probably should actually wrap it up a little bit for today, even if I didn't go through everything on the roast. I will share this and I will continue building. I think I can share this export as read-only link. I think that's from today's live stream. This should work, right? Twitch, YouTube, right? And I assume these notes work. I actually didn't. I posted it without checking. I need to check. Yeah, they work. I'll continue on this. I'll continue on this tomorrow. Finish all the other roasting. Oh yeah, you're lurking. I was about to be done with this actually. Just because I way more tired today. Less sleep. Trying to also reset my sleep schedule a little bit. So being on like three point something hours of sleep is not working out very well. But I did. I am trying. I already shared the link. I guess you see it in the chat as well. I'm preparing this now. This kind of boards for sharing some of the information. Yeah, that I wanted to do these live streams for more in-depth stuff. Especially for the live streams, yeah, because I was going over some of the I like Francesco actually rewrote his website from using Next.js to just basically, you could say, raw React, because I was roasting him yesterday and his performance was a little bit underwhelming. So he rewrote his app today. Basically, just rewrote just the technical side. Didn't change much on his website. So now he's we'll see what happens. But he went from like 60s, 70s Lighthouse now to the 90s. I saw he posted a screenshot of 96. I could not replicate. Yeah, here I get 94 now. So there's already one person who has reworked their website, but obviously there are some people in the community who say that it's impossible to optimize it. It's impossible to pass the benchmarks, to pass them. But some people are trying. And they're succeeding. Yeah, that's mostly like the impossible generally is obviously you just don't want to do the work. Obviously, that's why you're saying, and maybe at some point you tried doing it and it didn't actually help, so you gave up, and then later you never returned to the fact that, because these metrics, like the Core Web Vitals, if I go over this Don Corgi, these metrics, they are field data. And this algorithm, the Lighthouse algorithm for which metrics to use and how much weight each of them have for both this score and also which metrics are used for this field data assessment, they are both changing over time. Like this is already V10, version 10 of the Google Lighthouse calculator. So they are changing over time. But that means that if you at some point were succeeding on these metrics, you might be failing now, even if you weren't before. So, and that while that impact might be very, very minimal, you do actually have at least some kind of signal sent to Google regards how Google considers user experience. Because what's important now is to understand that if you look at the Lighthouse score, the way it's built, CLS, which is cumulative layout shift, that's how much your visuals on the screen are basically shifting during the load time. That's basically when the font changes, maybe the height of the element changes, maybe the image appears like image is loading slowly and then it suddenly appears and you're just like bumping all the content down. That all leaves like bad impact on the CLS. And CLS now this is the score. It's already 25% of the Lighthouse score, so it's not all about speed now. It's actually more about actual user experience and the way they experience, like the way user actually experiences the website. So, and before it was 10%, now it's 25%. So Google understands that performance of devices is good. So now the next issue is what's happening on the page and how they see the page when it's being loaded. Because that is a frustrating part. Because another frustrating part with that is that, for example, you see this button you want to click, and during the load time, as you're pressing the button, like with the touch event, just touching with like a touch event or with the mouse, and during that time, the image pops up, and suddenly you're actually pressing on the image that leads to a different page, or you're even pressing on, I don't know, like some completely different element. Like they had this demo here in the cumulative layout shift documentation. This demo is actually ridiculous. So you have this no go back, and there's an element, you could say tooltip popping up for app, like installing an app. It's actually an ad, and you actually press on place my order. And that's ridiculous because it could charge you money. I've seen some patterns like that on X, and I think even they might be intentional. That when you click on one view and there's this the button for paying for annual subscription is actually right in front of your mouse cursor, close to the where you you committed previous action. So if you do like consecutive presses just because you want to like open it, you might actually end up like buying with the second press, with the second mouse click. Sucks. But yeah, this demo obviously is a good showcase how you with this cumulative layout shift, element shifting on the page, how you can make horrible user experience for people. And it could actually cost you money as well if you get a chargeback or you need to refund, you still pay the fee to the payment processor. So it's also in your interest, and that's human resource time as well to cancel the order and maybe need to cancel it even with your supplier as well if that's already is being processed. There are a lot of issues that happen with like this bad experience when the elements shift on the website, but it's becoming a larger part of the Lighthouse score. So Google cares about it, and Google also replaced the first input delay, which is basically the first input on the page, which often has like a bigger delay because while you have the main thread blocked, it's not responding. Replaced it with interaction to next paint. And this is the Core Web Vital metric, one of the 3 metrics they take into account to assess whether you fail or don't fail. This is the one that actually is technically relevant to SEO. Now, the interaction to next paint actually takes into account any clicks, touch events, or like input on a keyboard. It takes any of these events and looks at like basically what like the average response time to those events is. So it's already different to first input delay, which would be only when the page is loading. Now it's basically what happens when you're actually doing anything on the page, even after the page has loaded. So clearly Google is actually shifting more and more towards the overall user experience in these metrics. So disregarding them fully is a little bit foolish. Yeah, so it's a little bit foolish to actually disregard them because Google is working towards specifically moving on to measuring more and more of the relevant user experience, not just speed anymore. Although it's speed as well. Actually, the interaction to that event is actually page performance. It's the speed. And the beauty about all of that nowadays is that you can measure all of that not just with the Lighthouse audit in the Google in the Chrome Dev Console, but also with the Performance tab, and it will even show you both the interaction timings. It will show you the largest contentful paint. You can also I can rerun it on this page, and you'll actually see the exact timeline, at least on your device, without throttling, or you can set up throttling, and you'll see exact timeline of what's happening. Yeah, looks brutal, but you can see LCP web phase. So here we can see that Don Corgi has an issue with the time to first byte, which is how long it takes for the server to start responding to my request or user's request. It's 54% of the LCP, the largest contentful paint, which is basically the main bottleneck. And then obviously the resource load delay and duration being another 40%, which means that's the time it takes for the user to download all the resources, that the HTML and all the resources, discover the resources in the HTML, and then download all of them. So that's the delay, and then the render is only 5%, which is completely fine. But the resource management and the server response time, definitely a little bit on the slow side for Don Corgi. And that's why I was actually doing this graphic here and explaining that the quick math, that if your benchmark for good is, and your budget, essentially your budget for load time for the CLS LCP, the largest contentful paint, is 2.5 seconds for Google. If your time to first byte is 1.5 seconds, which is true on mobile for Don Corgi for the field data, that means the 60% of your total budget goes just to getting to a response from a server. So you're left with only 1 second budget for everything that includes parsing the HTML, discovering the resources that need to be downloaded, downloading the resources and rendering them. Basically the above the fold largest element. For all of that, you have only 1 second out of the 2.5 seconds left. So, and this is actually a server-side optimization rather than a client-side optimization first and foremost, with the time to first byte. So you do all these audits that focus on the client side. They ignore that sometimes, especially for indie hackers and like solopreneurs, like hosting their own websites, that sometimes the server responses are a little bit slow, and maybe it's bad optimization on the server side rendering part, database queries, no caching for that. Sometimes it's just how to say, having background tasks on the server that are actually just slowing down the web server response, for example, at specific times of the day, that might actually coincide the peak usage. All those add up and might be, for example, essentially making that response slower. That's how you lose out on that budget, and you're left with very little for the actual rendering. But yeah, I repeated this again in case you listening. Partially repeated it. I mean, just a more condensed version. But I should definitely stop the stream for today because I am close to 2 hours, if I'm not wrong. It should be around 2 hours. Yeah, 150. And I also might check in to your live stream later. I don't know if you're already started, but I might check into your live stream, Dennis, as well. It's always nice to check what you're doing, and also sometimes leaving the leaving the browser open for those extra average views. Yeah, the live stream's been actually been fine. I'm getting a lot of information also that I condensing now. Even these notes I'm adding, piling up this way. I can actually use them almost as a script for a video. Especially the shorter videos, like the shorts. The problem with shorts is I need to do vertical, so I need to have well prepared well prepared screens, basically what I want to showcase to people. And I didn't even go over the whole audit for Don Corgi yet because I wanted to wrap it up sooner today. So I still need to complete this LCP part. But that will be for tomorrow's stream probably. And then I go through the other roast. There was Gareth, I believe. But that was, I believe, was smaller. There was way less to do when I last time I checked. I think it was just passing the audit. Not the same for Miguel. But then again, Miguel has like so many ads on his website. If you open his blog post, he might have like 10 ads in a post. Which obviously brings up the point that Miguel needs to focus more on the e-com side, you could say, the commerce side of actually selling his own stuff, and less on just trying to make the money with the ads. Unfortunately, Google obviously sees the user experience signals, the bounce rate goes up and everything with the ads on the page. And it feels pretty bad because you can kind of feel like you can't remove the ads because your revenue depends on it. All right, what? Oh yeah, and I finally also responded to one of the clients I had for the 90% off offer. Hopefully all that goes well as well for the person trying to optimize, not optimize, but fix their SEO issues. Lost a lot of traffic because of third party not allowing to use a hack. By third party, actually, Webflow. Because apparently you used to be able to pass multiple Webflow pages through a single domain with subfolder path by basically Nginx routing the Webflow traffic. Apparently, you were able to Nginx route Webflow traffic to specific sites with subpaths, basically. However, they disabled that and they said that was not intended use. So the website had to be split into subdomains essentially, which directly loses authority right away. But that's not a topic for this stream. It just sucks, yeah, sometimes when you rely on these ad hoc solutions, which I guess are not documented, and obviously someone like Webflow probably is very interested for you to upgrade to some kind of enterprise plan to have this solved. So they're essentially probably are extorting you in a way. Be like, yeah, well, this is not available anymore. But like probably with the enterprise plan, there's suddenly a workaround for that. Gives me some of those Cloudflare vibes. And I should be wrapping it up. Finally wrapping it up. But hey, I will be upgrading some things. Hey, I should actually upgrade my background as well finally. those links are not actually that relevant. The Roblox SEO course probably will be part of some season, like part of some season. I mean, as in part of probably something like gamification. Maybe could be a topic where I actually go with the Roblox SEO course. It actually sounds like it would be very thematic, like thematically right place to start plugging it in. And it's also a very relevant topic these days because gamification is used like everywhere. You see indie hackers use it. You see all the SaaS products, even including just websites in general, apps. Everyone is using gamification. I mean, I'm not saying it's a great thing. Like I'm not saying the gamification of everything is actually great for like overall the way it's used, because I noticed that gamification being used a lot around monetization, which that sucks. Like especially in games, you have like this, oh yeah, you just roll one more chest, you have this like guaranteed roll in like 40 some kind of microtransactions to get this reward. I mean, that's usually called gacha games, but it's still, yeah, that's the problem, because there are good like, for example, yeah, they're like that Mark Lewis tweet of only 10% finishing a course, for example. Now you can gamify that to probably double, maybe even triple the completion rate if you pull it off really well. And it's not necessarily that you're doing a bad thing, because if the person actually bought the course, and maybe it's even an expensive course, and they have inspiration for that goal, but they maybe have a issue following through because it's just hard. If you can gamify that process, create maybe some accountability plus some kind of like achievement paths and everything with the gamification included in all of that, there is a chance you help the person actually achieve that goal, and you help them get the return on that money investment. So I wouldn't say it's all bad. It's just bad in a way where it becomes very predatory. And that's unfortunately has become like a huge issue, especially in gaming and mobile games especially, but it's also starting to become an issue with like apps where you basically have some kind of points for this and that, and then you also maybe even receive achievement for like watching 100 hours of like TV shows or something, like come on, it's not an achievement you actually want, but you might actually feel inclined, be like, hey, I'm getting these achievements for watching this and that. I mean, even if it convinces you to watch one episode and one extra episode a month, like that's 40 minutes gone potentially of your life. And maybe you never intended to watch that episode. You just felt like, hey, I can complete this, I can just, because it really, it did especially praise on the completionists. Yeah. Because those have like the biggest problem, like the OCD people with OCD, like an completionist, like ADHD crowds, being somewhere there in a mix as well. Like that addiction to that, first of all, that dopamine hit of getting that, but also the fact that they some just want to, like, I want this to be done, and that achievement bar, for example, appearing there somewhere, being like, yeah, you're 90% there. Oh yeah, Twitch, for example, has the achievements. Like they're trying to make you stream more. Now, it's not necessarily for your benefit to stream more on Twitch, but they are actually trying to get you to stream more by setting these achievement bench, and they also have those tiers for each of them. Yeah, you stream these hours a month. Oh, look, you got the tier 2 of the achievement. Now you can move to the tier 3 by streaming an additional 10 hours. It's not obviously ROI positive necessarily for you to do the 10 hours compared to other actions you could take, but you might start completing those achievements for the sake of actually just seeing it on the platform, on your dashboard. So that's where I would still consider it being predatory. While with a course, there's a clear incentive for you to get better at something with just streaming more hours based on some kind of achievement. There's no clear added value to you. It's actually the added value is mostly to the platform because they can show ads on your stream. I mean, it can show ads on your stream, they can share ads on the stream, or they can at least keep the user on the platform watching your stream, discovering another stream, for example, and they make the ad money there. It's not even like you will even get the cut. So yeah, I definitely want to. I might focus on that gamification as a season at some point in the Q1. But I guess I'll be able to showcase both the good things and the bad parts for that, actually. Because there's a lot of bad parts that I would like people not to do, but also be aware of them, because the way the dark patterns of that gamification to exploit your attention, to exploit your financial resources. And yeah, I'm gonna be ending on this dark note right now, but that season might be coming, and that will be the SEO Roblox. So that link is still relevant. The other link with the /insights, it's actually sold out right now, so it's not relevant. And I need to continue actually get it delivered for some of the clients that are not have been gone as well, just for the sake of the time investment from my side. I should just finish delivering all of that as much as I can before Christmas. So they have something to reflect on, and I also just get it done. But that one's sold out for now, so I should upgrade my background soon. And then see next year if I want to continue with the /insights, that paper insight concept. I might try it. I just realized I started at the wrong time because I ended up being more busy than expected. But I should have expected that Black Friday anyway will be a bit more busy. But yeah, thank you for tuning in, Dennis. Miguel was also here before. I believe Francesco said he will be tuning in later, but maybe he won't be. And I noticed that Gareth liked my tweet, but if you are tuning into the live stream, I have not gone through your roast yet. Yeah, I just wanted to. I have not gone through the roast of your site yet, and I will not be doing it today. I've gone through 2 hours today, so I'll leave it for tomorrow. So that will be one of the first things I go over to tomorrow's live stream. Anyway, see you guys. Thanks for joining the live stream, and I'll see hopefully some of you tomorrow as well. And I'll also tune in your live stream probably. Start. I might be a little bit half AFK for the first part, but at least I'll try to tune in and also leave the browser open as well, just to have your average viewers go up, because I know the struggle to get those benchmarks met for the partners and everything is unfortunate, I guess. But you gotta make it whatever benefit it ends up bringing eventually. Yeah, that will probably. I mean that. I trust Twitch to be incompetent enough that they might not discover or care. I trust Twitch to at least deliver on the incompetent part. However, the YouTube the meeting the YouTube metrics though, that's actually much harder. But it would actually be pretty cool if I could unlock like what is that subscriptions and whatever. You can also have memberships, and then you also can have the the paid features on YouTube as well, I think, and including the ads is obviously. It will be actually pretty nice. But I believe that was like 500 to 1,000 subscribers, and for that I actually need to work on just creating this content. For example, I have not created videos, but I can do already, I think, based on the stuff I have prepared, couple shorts and couple 5 to 10 minute videos discussing some of these topics. So I should actually do some of this and just publish them. and see how it does. Obviously, those are not flashy videos doing for the algorithm on launch date, but it's more about actually I guess the long tail for the browse features. So people who are browsing up those specific keywords that they can get good value out of it. But that's a slower way to also build subscribers, a slower way to also build views, but it's a more like reliable way because it's not exactly entertainment content right now. And also this week I should be receiving the webcam. I have some lights, improved background lights for actually a little bit more natural colors because this ring light I have is I can't I can't dim it like properly, and it's also too much white lights. It makes me look lighter than I am. Gosh. I was spending 4 or 5 hours in summer outside. So I was even decently tanned, but this light makes me look like I live north of Sweden and don't see any sunlight. So yeah, that light those lights also coming in soon, and then I'll work on the background. I had those plans to actually also set up a more proper background, but the issue is obviously with all the potential needing to move and stuff. I need to be a little bit more considerate around that. Whether I want to invest the time and both like the resources actually setting up the background that I might not end up using at least for a while until I don't know figure out that things are fine and I can like be back here if I move away. Um, so that part also puts a little bit more pressure for me to actually find some additional gig work or maybe do well with some of the uh, content courses or whatever, which I actually have thought about. Yeah, maybe I should do the maybe I should do the like a condensed workshop slash mini course on this page performance topic. Like I don't know, it's not a popular topic, but if I do the YouTube videos combined with some articles I publish somewhere as a blog for this, like I could potentially get some sales on the long tail. At least it would be maybe a good way to also leave it leave it be. It's not the most popular topic anymore these days, but there are people who are browsing those, and the tools, for example, for real user monitoring, they can go up to like $100 a month. So if I compare like my education on, for example, do it yourself or understanding what it means, charging like a low fee for that education, actually, I mean, at least like position wise, I think could make sense. But I need to think about also how much time it actually takes for me to set it up. I think because if I combine all the content I put out in live streams, the posts, I haven't posted this week actually. It's Wednesday, but I haven't posted because I was doing live streams. It kind of like takes a lot of time. I should actually complete the posting schedule for all those topics. If I put all those topics together, I think if I can then just deliver a more condensed version in like 1 hour mini course, probably might be a good thing for people. Anyway, you guys, whoever is watching this or tuning in later, you heard it here first. Might do it. I think if I can do it within less than 5 hours, I would definitely do it. I think my concern is that I might not be able to put everything together in less than 5 hours because I'm just not used to putting these things together. So because I would need to do both the video and a landing page, and the landing page part is also takes time because obviously especially if you rely on long tail visitors, you from search, for example, or a YouTube video, you kind of want it to be a little bit more polished, at least. Anyway, yeah, I've been going over time by thinking about finishing the live stream for the I don't know how long. Yeah, it's finally tomorrow. Actually, just a good thought process, I guess. And yeah, the links to these notes read only link is provided to people in the chat before. I'll share it again when it's complete, which will be after tomorrow's live stream.